Keep going, yeah. 18 months ago, I sent an email to two of the kind of best teachers and leaders in the country. Today, at the STEP Lab National Conference 2025, we're launching the documentary Great Teaching Unpacked. And so that's what we're here to tell you about today. I'm super excited, but I'm also a little bit nervous. In this video, I'm going to tell you what we did, why we did it, how you can access all of this, and our recommendations for using it. So let's get in. So why spend 18 months working on a documentary about great teaching? Well, to answer that story, we got to take a step back and talk about models, okay? What are models? Models are essentially examples of teaching that show an effective bit of teaching in a way that's replicable. And they're really powerful for a load of different reasons, which we'll get into in a moment. But they can take a variety of forms, such as a live demonstration in a professional development session, for example, or some coaching. They can be a video, it can be a case study, or we can even have like lesson observation to a certain extent. I've been in the PD game for over 15 years, and one thing that's become increasingly clear to me is the sheer power of models for improving teaching and schooling. And the evidence is increasingly pointing towards this. A great study by Sam Sims and his colleague just last year really laid out some of the first causal evidence on the power of models. Let's find out exactly why they're so powerful. Let's go to talk to somebody who's more expert than me, Josh Goodrich, coaching expert and CEO at STEP Lab. Josh, why are models so powerful?
I think often we expect teachers to be able to improve in the classroom by just telling them using words what to improve at, right? But the classroom is really, really complicated. There's more things that they need to look at, see, respond to than we could have language to describe. The only way that we can really convey to them what it should look like, what they need to do, is through using actual models which have the detail and the complexity of a real classroom.
What makes a good model?
For me, the most important thing is that when we have a model, it's explicitly tethered to purpose. You can't have a model that is disconnected from what we want to achieve in a particular instance, right? So I want to achieve this thing by doing that thing. Here's how I do it. So that all the way through the model, we should be like, this links to this for this reason, okay? I think the second feature of the model is it should be very easy to break down into a key set of features or success criteria. The idea behind that being that oftentimes, particularly when novice teachers look at a model, they don't really know what to look at. Again, classrooms are deeply complex. Should I look at this feature, or this feature?
Yeah, you could end up like focusing on something redundant or something unhelpful.
Right, exactly.
Hairstyle or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Particularly with you, Pep.
Yeah, my problem.
So if we have a model, we should be able to be like, these features matter. Notice this thing, why is it important? So the idea is we can break our models down into a key list of important features or criteria.
Okay, cool. And anything else?
I think the third thing would be that they need to be at least moderately realistic.
Okay, yeah.
I think, sometimes it's okay to model outside of the classroom, but a really helpful model will be in a fairly realistic context with real students and some real teaching going on. Because I think only that kind of model gives us enough about the real richness of a classroom environment.
When you provide people with models, can it be useful to show them multiple models?
So I think multiple models is really important.
Okay.
We see one model, even if we have a list of features, we may only see it on a fairly surface level. But if we see multiple models, and in the first model the teacher has curly hair, and in the second model the teacher has thinning hair, we will know that those things are not important features. Because despite those things being different, some things remain the same, and the things that remain the same between multiple models are probably the deep and important stuff that we want teachers to be taking forward.
Okay, so when you show people multiple models, it helps them discern the
deep structure
and pay less attention to the surface features.
That's it, mate.
Okay. Awesome, that's really helpful. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Peps, my boy.
So models are clearly very powerful, but one of the big issues is that not enough teachers get to see like really good models, like really good models with super excellent teaching throughout their careers, and that's just not fair. Getting to see great teaching shouldn't be a lottery ticket that you kind of win early on in your career. And so as a result, we decided to make a super model, okay? This is essentially a really good model that dives deep into highly effective teaching and schooling and share it with the world, essentially. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 18 months, and that's what we're here to launch today. So what exactly does a super model need to do? Well, it needs to do three things. Firstly, we needed to capture really highly effective schooling. And so we would like to try and find what we believe are two of some of the most effective schools in the UK. Reach Academy Felton, which is an all-through school where we focus just on the primary side of things, which serves a community which experiences high levels of disadvantage, but also achieves exceptional academic outcomes and builds great students that have high levels of curiosity, confidence and character. And it's just a really happy, vibrant place to work. We also reached out to Arc Soul Academy, which again is an incredible school which achieves great things for its cohort of learners. And its head of PD is the amazing Pritish Rachura, who is one of the stars of a documentary. He has had exceptional results with his students in the past, so we thought it would be really good to do a deep dive into his teaching. The second thing is we wanted to create a really rich experience for people watching. Imagine you come with me into a really great school, we get to watch a load of lessons, we get to interview those teachers, and you get to analyse it all together with an expert. And then thirdly, we wanted to make all of this a really effective learning experience. So that meant that we kind of had an underpinning curriculum for the whole documentary. It meant that we drew attention to the right things at the right time so people could, again, try to tease out those important features of what they were seeing. And we used things like text on the screen and diagrams, as you might imagine, to help people really understand some of the science behind the excellent practice that we were showcasing. Add all those ingredients in together, stir for 18 months with a dash of Josh and Peps, and you end up with a 4-part Netflix-style documentary, Great Teaching Unpacked. Great Teaching Unpacked dives into one configuration of what we believe to be some of the most effective teaching in the UK, potentially the world. Fancy having a look? All right, so folks, enjoy the first episode of Great Teaching Unpacked.
Effective teaching is the biggest lever we have at our disposal for improving the learning and life chances of the young people in our care. Which is why in this series we're unpacking great teaching, what it is and how it works, so you can have even more concrete conversations about what better practice looks like in your context.
When I first came to Oxford Academy, everything was just so peaceful.
They make sure we're learning hard, but at the same time also having fun.
While you watch, turn your focus to just how much his students are thinking and exactly what he does to achieve this.
What's special about the noble gases? Partners, go.
Gases do not react with one colour because they have a full outer shell, which means that they must be in group 0.
Oh, lots of good knowledge
Noble
here.
gases
3, 2, 1,
stable.
and hands up. Okay, I'm sport for choice. Let's go to Maya, start us off.
Pritesh, let's dig into what was happening in that clip. Why are you using pair talk in a lesson?
So turn and talk massively increases the participation ratio in the class because suddenly everyone has a go practicing.
Show me in 3, 2, 1, and show. Good. Really good. 1 and 2. What does that show us about how Lyra feels towards Pan? What does that show us about how Lyra feels towards Pan? Turn to your partner, go.
The leftover waste comes out in the toilet, okay?
Wordsworth was a what type of poet beginning with R? He was a 1, 2, 3. Romantic. Who was a romantic poet? Wordsworth. And this is what they believed. They thought God created nature for humans to enjoy.
Show me thumbs up, thumbs down. Is that a positive thing? Yeah, we love dancing.
As part of the coaching, there's a point at which you get up and you demonstrate the technique itself.
Yeah.
Why do you do that? Do you always do that?
We want to make sure that we are using that educational research to inform what we're doing in the classroom because time is really precious, every minute matters, and we are on a really clear mission to give our children a life of choice and opportunity.
Okay, I'm here with Becca and Freeda from Eamon, North London, and they're going to tell us what they thought of the documentary.
The documentary is super, super insightful. I think seeing people do their practice in real time is a real element of insight, you know? We don't really get to see what everybody else is kind of doing in their classroom, and to have kind of this expert model, as much as it is real time, is we can do so much from that. So I loved it. I really loved it.
I found it so inspiring. I mean, we're both about 4 years in, 7 years into teaching. It's so inspiring to still see, okay, I've still got quite something to strive for. And to see that like Pritesh is like now my new teaching idol, and I'm just thinking, I'm gonna go and Google him or like LinkedIn and see what he's posting. Right, exactly. But most importantly, I loved the post-observation conversation between Josh and Pritesh, and really starting to understand, you know, the awareness and insight that he was giving us to why he's doing what he's doing in the classroom, what the impact has been. I am obsessed, and I cannot wait to see the rest of the episodes.
Binge watch them all with some ice cream on Netflix.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, folks.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it sounds like the documentary has the potential to be a useful resource. We don't really know yet, never done this thing before. But if you are interested in having a look, then just head to steplab.co/film, F-I-L-M, and you can get free access basically to all of the 4 documentary episodes, plus lots of accompanying resources that will help you to basically implement it in an effective way with your school. Do go and check it out, and if you have any kind of feedback, let us know so that we can continue to improve those resources. So a couple of things just to kind of call out before we wrap up. Firstly, this is not a set of teaching practices to be imitated. Every school's context is really different, and so the idea here really is providing some stimulation for discussion for improvement within your context. Secondly, it's important to remember that this is just a documentary, and by itself, no model's ever going to really transform practice. And so it's probably important that you pair the documentary with some kind of powerful behaviour change tool such as StepLab. Together, the documentary and StepLab are a pretty powerful pairing. And then the final thing to call out is that this is just a few examples of the amazing teaching and schooling that is going on in the UK and around the world. I know that there are many of you on improvement journeys at various different points, working really hard on those. We just felt it's useful to at least start to begin to capture some of that and to really try to celebrate the amazing work that teachers and leaders are doing all around the country. So you're all legends. See you there.